Okay, this looks like an interesting video. Ranking Guild Wars 2 classes. You know, that's actually kind of funny because I only played a Guardian and a Warrior, and I had a blast. But that being said, there's so many classes that I've seen no one plays. One of them is Revenant, which by this point you guys have told me that you need to purchase at least one expansion to gain access to him. So it kind of makes sense that right now I'm mixed with a lot of free-to-play players because I'm still at the base game in Tyria running around doing shenanigans. So I don't see many of them. But still, I saw one. Throughout my entire journey, I've seen one Revenant, which is kind of odd. And at the same time, I barely saw any engineers, which is weird because so many of you told me, oh, they're at the end game, they're at the end game. Brother, there's an early game. Like, why aren't they there? Like, are they all boosting? They need to be somewhere. They need to do the early to reach the late. So it's kind of weird that I haven't seen any engineers whatsoever. Well, I've seen like 2 or 3 at most, but that's it. Also, rangers are pretty scarce. And thieves I haven't really seen that often. But the 3 most popular classes are definitely Guardian, Mesmer, and Necro. For sure. Guardian is easily number 1. And it's so funny because I picked one myself. But at the time I didn't know he was so popular. I was just thinking to myself like, oh, he looks cool, so I'm gonna pick him. But I guess so many people thought the same. That being said, like, very good class. But I really hope this video could shed some light on this thing because I really want to know what people's opinions are about the classes. Even though this is like individual video, I still like to hear from you in the comments. So let me know what do you think.
Guild Wars 2 has 9 different classes, officially referred to as professions in the game. And I just want to say that I enjoy every single one of them quite a bit. But today I want to do a little bit of a different kind of video, and I just want to quickly rank each of the 9 professions and give a very short overview of why I ranked each one the way I did. Of course, these rankings are based on a ton of different factors, including my personal enjoyment of each profession, what each profession offers to the game and every aspect of the game, general class fantasy vibes, and how the community reacts to each profession. We're starting off in
there it is. Like, literally, there it is. Last place, the Revenant. This is so odd. Maybe the class just isn't fun. I have absolutely no idea what playing him feels like. I have no idea what Revenant means in Guild Wars 2. I don't know how he attacks even, but maybe he'll explain it. I hope he does.
Spot is, unfortunately, the Revenant, where, again, I just want to reiterate that I do enjoy every single profession in the game. But out of all 9 of them, the Revenant is just...
It's just him being afraid of criticism or being afraid of criticizing because he's afraid that people would have backlash against him. Like, brother, if you don't enjoy something, you should always speak against it. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Do it in a respectful manner. Trust me, I know, but do it. Like, don't be afraid to disappoint anyone watching your content.
My least favorite. And I think a big part of that might actually be connected to the fact that the Revenant is the only profession added to the game after the launch of Guild Wars 2, where it was released with the Heart of Thorns expansion in 2015, and I started playing in 2012. So to some extent, naturally, I'm just going to enjoy the other 8 professions a little bit more.
But brother, it has been over a decade at this point. I mean, isn't the disparity levels should have like shifted a little bit to become closer? It's kind of odd take, but okay, sure, I can understand some of it.
Because I have like 3 more years of experience with them, and I had a bunch of characters with each of the professions made before the Revenant released, so it was kind of just an outcast coming into my list of characters. But additionally, I really enjoy the vibe of the Revenant channeling the powers of ancient mist beings.
Oh, so that's how he attacks?
To some extent, I don't really enjoy how limiting that can be gameplay-wise, where the Revenant has a very special mechanic where you just pick a legend and then you get all of the healing, utility, and elite skills that are directly connected to that legend, and you can't mix and match, which I think is really cool from a class fantasy point of view.
Interesting. Yeah, wow, that actually sounds like my sort of thing. I like being limited. That's great. Hey, you know what? Maybe I'll try Revenant in the future. That actually sounds pretty dope.
It's a little bit limiting, especially when I'm playing a legend and I really like 2 of the abilities, but I don't like the other 3. It kind of just feels like I'm wasting that legend to some extent. But with that said, I do still enjoy the Revenant a lot, and I think the class fantasy is incredible, and there are a couple of builds here and there that I do really enjoy with the Revenant, where I particularly like the Revenant in very niche gameplay scenarios, especially in in-game content, where I really like hand-kiting Demos as...
Wait, why his Raptor has way more abilities than mine? What is this? Are you unlocking this in the future? You know what? Don't tell me. Let me experience this for myself.
a Revenant character. In the number 8 spot
Oh,
is
there it is. It's crazy. Dude, I haven't pre-watched this. I swear to God. Like, literally, I just told you what I saw from my experience. It's crazy. I guess there's a reason for that.
engineer, where this is an incredibly nostalgic profession for me, because my first ever character, which I unfortunately don't have anymore, was an engineer character, and because of that, I just really have a lot of favorability towards this profession, but to some extent that's kind of where it ends, where I really do enjoy the class fantasy of an engineer with all the different turrets and different weapon kits that you can have and all the different potions and just different gadgets that you can use in combat.
And also you have like a bot following you?
And I've had a lot of fun playing as an engineer over the years,
cool.
but I feel like I just don't really ever spend a ton of time specifically playing an engineer character. And I think part of that is just because I don't really find it too enjoyable or fun or engaging in many different ways. Dude,
it's so weird that you're talking so highly of a class and then you just completely shit on it. Brother, you really need to work on how you do criticism. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I think this guy is great and he's doing his best, but you can't do fence sitting. You can't satisfy both sides. It doesn't work. It never will. If you hate a class, it's okay. Say what you think, but do it in a respectful manner. Like, you can't say, oh, I love this class, it's so fun, it's my favorite ever, and then, oh, but it's trash because it doesn't have this and that, and I don't like this. It sounds so weird. You go from here to here. It's not okay. Like, you need to tell us up front what you don't like about the class, and if you do like something, then mention it. It's okay, but you can't say that you like something and then completely shit on it. It's weird.
I feel like there's something
and I'm sorry if I sound like an asshole here. I don't like it when people fence it. It's just like my nature. I love being critical of things, and I love when people speak their truth. If I disagree with it, it's completely fine. I don't care. As long as you keep speaking your mind, I will always respect you. If you do it in a respectful manner, of course, and non-toxic way. But you should always say what you think. Always.
Out the engineer profession that just feels a little dull to me to some extent, where I just don't find any of the builds specifically super engaging to play in any part of the game, where I do really love the Mechanist for obvious reasons, as it's very, very popular. And I
wonder
love
what the other
like 3 builds that come from the Mechanist, but beyond that, I don't really enjoy the Holosmith or the Amalgam too much, and I have...
Do you need to enjoy all elites, or can you just choose one and stick with it? Are you constantly swapping elites? Again, I'm not at the end game, so I'm not really sure how you guys play there. But right now I'm building my first elite, so I'm having a blast. Will I ever switch it? I don't know. Maybe. But right now I'm not thinking about it. So let me know in the comments.
Some favorability towards the
maybe certain builds for certain activities, for sure.
But beyond that, there's...
I do want to try Firebrand. It looks really cool. It is a support, right? I never tried healing. I really want to do that. It looks cool, for sure.
Just not really anything that I particularly enjoy about the engineer profession that really makes it stand out for me. And then number 7 spot is the Elementalist.
Elementalist,
and this
weird,
is
okay.
kind of a very similar idea to the
engineer.
Damn!
What is that weapon? Jesus! What the fuck is that weapon? Dude, it looks sick!
For a very long time, but it's not my first character that I ever had. But it's just another class that feels a little dull to me. And I think for a lot of players in Guild Wars 2, the Elementalist is also the most overwhelming profession in Guild Wars 2, where there's just so many different skills in the game. And then when you take into consideration some of the elite specializations, in particular the Weaver, it becomes even more complicated and complex, and a lot of newer players really struggle with
Damn, Elementalist looks dope.
But because of that complexity, I just enjoy the Elementalist a little bit more, because I love all the different available options and the opportunities for meta building with the Elementalist, just because of all the different things that it can do. Where I think before the Visions of Eternity expansion, I would have had the Elementalist in the number 8 spot and the Engineer down here in the number 7 spot. but with the introduction of the Evoker, with one part of the builds that are available with the Evoker, and another part of the class fantasy that the Evoker provides, I just really enjoy Elementalist a fair bit more than the Engineer.
You have like firewall attacks. He looks great.
With the Visions of Eternity.
He looks awesome.
And the number 6 spot is
number
the
6 Mesmer. Okay.
A profession that I have definitely
That's
played
gonna make some people mad.
But I just haven't really gotten into it in many different parts of the game, where I haven't really played this all too much in PvP or in WVW, and I've spent most of my time playing Mesmer out in PvE, where I do enjoy the Mesmer a fair bit in the open world purely because of the portal, where I do like to teleport people and help people out to complete different jumping puzzles or to get to other specific places. And the Mesmer is the profession that you want to play if you want to do that, because they are the ultimate helpers for anybody in Guild Wars 2.
They really feel unique.
And I think that's just a really fun thing to have in a profession or a class in any video game. But I also particularly like the Mesmer. I love this guy's sword. It's Sunrise, right? Where I've seen it multiple times. Really practice Tower Mesmer in Wing 3 to basically single-handedly carry groups through the tower, and to just like easily capture all of them by myself while the other 9 just do whatever they want to do downstairs, kill their wargs and whatnot. And then there's other builds as well, where I liked to tank Kadim in Wing 6 as a Mesmer, which I think is still maybe the most popular option. And there's just some other.
I wish he would have explained more about the classes in a way that non-Guild Wars 2 players would have understand, because I can only understand half of the stuff he's saying, and that kind of sucks. I know most of you will explain to me in the comments, but you need to understand that most people who don't make content and just watch this video are really confused, unless they come from Guild Wars 2. And that's something that I myself try to implement in every single video that I make. I always assume that the guys watching me have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, so I'm explaining everything from scratch every single time. And I love doing that. That's why so many people from different MMO all across the world just come to this channel and have a chat together. I love that.
Things as well, where I really like the Mesmer from the classic Heart of Thorns days. Because
this mount is dope.
People didn't really know meta builds that much and like how to optimize for raids back in the dark days of Heart of Thorns, before it started getting more and more figured out towards the end of Heart of Thorns. And I really loved having a chrono tank as like the primary tank for raids in like Wings 1 through 3. And I thought it was just like a really cool class fantasy with like a sword and shield and just like tanking the boss around with a classic healing druid with a ranger. And I just have some nostalgia for that.
Druid?
Which in the number 5 spot is the ranger.
There it is.
Just like what I just said with the Mesmer, I have a fair bit of nostalgia with the ranger from the Heart of Thorns days, because I loved playing a druid ranger in raids and just healing everybody. And it was a very fun and engaging build.
Neat attack.
Where I also really enjoyed Ranger back in the Heart of Thorns days in player versus player, where I loved playing a bunker druid with a bristleback, and I had like an insane win rate in PvP because I legitimately could win 1v2s, 1v3s on points by myself and just control part of the map entirely by myself, while the rest of my team just goes and does whatever at the other points. And I also think Ranger is a very incredible profession for new players.
I need to do PvP.
Because
it's gonna take me some time reaching there.
It's a little bit complicated and not great.
I'm still getting familiar with my class.
But in the early game, it is a very easy profession to play and to get into. Where having a pet is always definitely helpful for new players because it can take some aggression.
It's one of the basic classes. I feel like it's one of the most basic classes, and that's a good thing because most new players to MMO will choose this. Like, usually, most of the time. I know because I picked a ranger when I played Maple Story. It used to be my type of thing. I used to only play rangers. Now my mentality has completely shifted, and I only play, like, melee and tankiness. But back in the day, yeah, I picked those classes all the time.
Can also deal extra damage with the pet as well. And I do really like the Gale Shot specialization with the Visions of Eternity. And
he had a really good point there.
Earlier, I really like the Druid specialization from Heart of Thorns. But the Soul Beast and Untamed, I'm a little less interested in those options. Where I really like the class fantasy of the Soul Beast. And the Untamed, I just don't particularly care too much about. And I never really spent a ton of time playing. And the number 4 spot is the Thief, where this is maybe the profession I've spent the most time playing with in World vs. World, where I really enjoy roaming around as a thief but not as a Deadeye because it's kind of cringe if I'm being completely
I heard
honest.
everyone.
But
I heard everyone plays Deadeyes. Maybe that's why it's cringe. I don't really know.
being a daredevil roaming thief in Road vs. Road, especially before the War Claw was added to the game, was
I
just
never
an
play thieves, by the way.
incredible
I hate him.
experience, where I really
Being
enjoyed
sneaky isn't
Daredevil
my
Thief
sort of thing.
in PvE as well. We're just a classic power staff.
But I respect
Daredevil
others'
is a
opinion.
very fun and
Even if they're
incredibly
wrong.
easy rotation, where you can be pretty not good at the game and just play Daredevil Thief, and you can do a ton of damage and really top the charts. Where Daredevil is also a very fun class fantasy, and I think Deadeye, Spectre, and Antiquaries are also very fun class fantasies, but I just haven't gotten too much into them. Where Spectre is maybe my second most played of the elite specializations for Thief, as I played a fair bit of it in PvP as well, where it's really fun to fight on points with a Spectre. In the number 3 spot
Warrior.
is the
Base.
Warrior, where the
This
Warrior
guy's
is
base.
just the most classic profession or class in any
Use the
video
gun
game.
spec.
And it
Shoot
makes a
him.
lot of sense that we have it in Guild Wars 2.
It's the only way.
Especially since it was in Guild Wars 1, like many of these professions were. Where in Guild Wars 1, the Warrior was really just the master of weaponry. Where in Guild Wars 2, that is still exactly the same. Where the Warrior has so many different weapon options, and they're all really fun. But unfortunately, I think to some extent, there's a tiny bit of class fantasy missing with the Warrior. When I look at some classic Warrior vibes, especially from my affinity towards games like Warcraft 3, where there's no really like footman build you can have with a Warrior. You can of course have like a sword and shield, and I don't really know how to explain it, but like the sword and shield vibe for Warriors in Guild Wars 2 just feels a little bit off compared to how it is in other games. But beyond
Interesting.
all of that, the Warrior
Interesting. Warrior was. I have so many issues with Guild Wars 2 class identity, and Warrior wasn't one of them for some reason. He felt on point. Like, Warrior just felt right with the Fury and all that stuff, and the Enrage mechanic, and he had like a lot of stuff that I find particularly like really well made. I thought they were good. So I find it interesting that he's saying this about the Warrior, actually, and not other classes like Guardian that can blink. And I know you guys are gonna hate me for saying that. I'm gonna keep saying that because class identity is a huge problem in Guild Wars 2, in my opinion.
is a really fun profession to play, and is one of my most played professions in Guild Wars 2, where I kind of consider like my second main character, or my main alternate character if you will in the game, as a Warrior currently. And I think all 4 of the elite specializations are fun. I haven't spent too much time playing the Paragon, but I really love the combination of the Paragon as well as the Land Spear from the Janther Wilds expansion. And I think Spellbreaker is an incredible class when it comes to class fantasy. And the Berserker and Bladesworn are just incredibly fun, especially the Berserker,
Bladesworn is what I
which
played,
I've been
right?
playing a lot
I
of
remember the
recently
name.
with my Gold Locked series, which is just a very fun specialization to.
That being said, Spellbreaker sounds like fun. I remember glancing at it and it looked pretty dope. I think it's more of a PvP spec. For some reason, it sounded to me way like better for PvP. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I'm not really sure.
Run on the
I just want to shoot people.
Warrior, just running around in the open world and obliterating any enemy that stands in your way. In the number 2 spot is the Necromancer, where I
Interesting.
really love the Necromancer profession.
Many people
in
play
Guild Wars 2, and it is my main character in my Let's Play series, and is one of my main alternate characters on my main account. For the Necromancer, going all the way back to 2012,
I
has
wonder
just
what they
been
do.
a very fun and engaging profession to play that is relatively easy to get into,
Except
but
of
still
necromancy,
has a ton
obviously.
of
Don't be a smart
in-game
ass.
elements that are somewhat difficult to master. Where when it comes to the 4 elite specializations for the Necromancer, I think this is the only profession in the game where I absolutely love and adore and play a lot of all 4 of the specializations. Even with the Ritualist and the Visions of Eternity expansion, I think that is my favorite of the 9 specializations we got
Interesting.
with Visions of Eternity, where Reaper is just an absolutely incredible profession, both gameplay wise and also from the point of class fantasy, because I'm somebody who really loves Death Knights and other games, and a Reaper is basically as close as you can get to a Death Knight in Guild Wars 2.
Really? I love
where
Death
I really
Knights
like
as well.
Scourge
That's
and Harbinger
interesting.
as well, and I really hope we see some sort of skeleton Necromancer into the future, and I've talked about that a lot. But largely, the Necromancer is just so incredibly fun to play.
Man,
and
PvP
I've
in this
really,
game,
really
like PvP in this game looks insanely fun. I can't wait to actually do PvP. I just need to get more familiar with my character, and I want to explore like more of the PvE stuff before I jump into PvE. But that looks hella fun. It looks insanely good.
enjoyed it. But in the number
Number
one
one.
spot, the one profession
knows.
that I've enjoyed more than any
He
other,
knows.
and out of my 10,000 plus hours I've spent playing Guild Wars 2, over 7,000 of that, so over 70%.
I wonder, guys, can you tell me, spoiler free, which weapon is the most fun on Guardians? Right now I'm playing with a sword and a torch and I'm having a blast, but I haven't explored many of the other weapons. Like, what do you think? No spoilers though, just say why. Like, again, don't ruin it for me. I want to explore everything.
My time spent playing the game has been on the Guardian. For anyone who's watched my channel for a long time probably knows Guardian is my favorite character, because one, I've talked about it a fair bit, and two, most of my videos are shot on my main Guardian character, my Savari Guardian.
He's playing
that I've
Firebrand,
had
right?
Since December of 2012. And I mentioned earlier that Death Knights are one of my favorite types of classes in other games, and very similar to Death Knights are Paladins, which are very similar gameplay-wise in many games, though completely opposite vibes-wise, and Guardian is the equivalent of a Paladin in Guild Wars 2, where it combines the ideas of a paragon and a monk from the original Guild Wars, and then combines in elements of the warrior.
But he's also a mage, because he can do a lot of shenaniganry that usually mages do.
To just
Again, class identity thing.
make a fantastic magical-based martial fighter,
Paladins don't blink,
which tends to
Chief.
be my
They
favorite
don't.
type of gameplay in any video game, and it is absolutely perfect in Guild Wars 2. Where across PvE, both in the casual open world and in raiding as well, all the way to PvP, all the way to WVW.
Damn, they're really
love
good.
the Guardian, where I spend a
guess
lot
that's
of
why
time
they're so
roaming
ubiquitous.
around as a dragon hunter in World vs. World, and I also enjoy playing Firebrand when I slot into a squad. And in PvP, I also really enjoy the Willbender and the Dragon Hunter. And in PvE, I love the Firebrand a lot, and I also love the Dragon Hunter a fair bit when it comes to a power build. And I haven't spent
What about
too much
Luminary?
time playing a Willbender, but I do enjoy it a fair bit. And I haven't really gotten into the Luminary specialization
Damn,
just yet.
that's what I
hasn't
play.
really clicked for me, but I feel like I'm definitely going to enjoy it.
That's
once I
interesting. That's interesting he's actually saying that, because I thought Luminary was the most appealing. It looked so dope. It looked like Jarvan from League of Legends, a character that I really love, both in terms of lore and gameplay. But yeah, I mean, I kind of saw his elite skill, and I went like, damn, that's sick. And I'm going to use that for PvP. It looks insanely good.
spend a little bit more time.
And I also have like an emblem, the way that it's called. I recently earned one from the gift I got on my warrior, because I essentially, was in the game for like 4 years. So I got some gifts from the game for my birthday. And yeah, I mean, I got some really cool skills to combine it with. It's dope.
With it. But I spend most of my time in Guild Wars 2 playing as a Firebrand character, because there are so many different options with a Firebrand, especially with the 3 different tomes, where you get so much Condi Cleanse, you get so much stability, you get so much grouping capabilities, you can deal so much Condi damage, you can keep 100% quickness uptime on yourself and your entire party. It's just a phenomenal profession. Where this isn't really true today, but a few years ago, and lasting for a very long time, there was a big meme in the Guild Wars community that the Guardian was the favorite child. And
That's
historically,
crazy.
it has been one of the best professions in all of Guild Wars 2, where it sees a ton of gameplay in PvP, World vs. World, and PvE, where in fact, in World vs. World, about 50% of people play a Guardian because it's just that good. And it's just regularly one of the best professions in the entire game, which I think was very convenient for me because it was my favorite profession starting back in 2012, and I've stuck with it since then, so I've benefited from that. But largely, it's just an incredible profession, and I love it so much, and anyone who hasn't played a Guardian definitely should try out the Guardian, because it's so much fun.
But at the same time, for me personally, just make it kind of suck, because I love to play more like underrated characters. So I kind of wish I played an engineer now. But at the same time, Guardians are hella fun, so I'm not regretting it one bit. It was really good.
And those are my...
Yeah, this seemed to be the end of the video. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. It was a great video. I had some gripes with it, which I've spoken about, but for, the most part, this video was amazing. So I'm going to leave a link in the description. You guys can watch it for yourself. Please do give him a like. It was a really great video. But yeah, I mean, about the rankings, there's nothing I can personally attest to. I'm playing Guardian. He put Guardian number 1, so yeah, it's kind of funny. And Warrior number 3 as well, which is like great. But I can't really say that I'm agreeing on everything because I haven't tried everything. I don't know why Revenant sucks. I don't know why nobody plays him. And same thing for Engineer. He didn't really explain any of that. I really wish he would have considered us like complete newbies about Guild Wars 2 instead of just, telling it us like we already know the game. It's kind of unfortunate. I feel like it's a lost opportunity here. But, you know what? It's fine. It was still a great video nonetheless, and I enjoyed it. So make sure to let me know what you think in the comments about that. It was truly a fantastic video.